everyone, welcome back to A Book for Every Situation. My name is Maria, and this week's video is going to be a Taylor Swift book tag. So, different YouTubers come up with different book tags, which is where they will have a theme and they'll list a bunch of books that go with the theme. So Taylor Swift is one of my favorite singers, one of my favorite artists. I think she's a wonderful person, love her music. So I decided to do one based on Taylor Swift. I took inspiration from some other previous book tags, and I also included my own songs. So the way it's going to work is that I have picked a few Taylor Swift songs and picked a book to go with them that goes with the theme of the song, the sentiment, what the song is about, and so on. So let's get started. Okay, the first song we're doing is called The Best Day. It's from Fearless, Taylor Swift's second album, and it's about nostalgia, looking back on your childhood. So the book that I picked is called Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. It was the first book I read by Sarah Dessen, who became one of my favorite authors when I was like 13, 14, 15. Very much young adult romance books, but very cute. Along for the Ride is kind of a beach summer book about this beach town that the main character spends her summer at. It just reminds me of the time I read it, first year of high school, I think it was. Very cute book. I would definitely recommend it if you're around that age and you're still into young adult. It's a little young for me now, but that's the reason. It's kind of more nostalgic than anything else. So that's for The Best Day. Okay, next is Love Story, also from Fearless, and this song by a lot of Taylor Swift fans is called like one of her best songs ever, and she has 7 albums, so that says something. It tells the story of Romeo and Juliet, so the theme is forbidden love. So the book that I chose is Queen of Air and Darkness, which is I read it this year, and the story is that there are these two characters, Julian and Emma, who, because of the situation in the entire series, they're going through this, it's a fantasy book, so the bond that they have between them is kind of a magical bond, and because of that bond, they're not allowed to have a romantic relationship, and they still do, and they try to find a way around it. So I had to pick that one for Forbidden Love. Not the same way Romeo and Juliet had a forbidden love, but with the same kind of theme. They're kind of star-crossed lovers, so that's the one I chose for Love Story. Okay, next we have 15. 15 is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, one of the ones I fell in love with automatically when I heard it, one of the first ones that made me love Taylor Swift. It's just coming of age. When you're 15, the lyrics go, when you're 15, somebody tells you they love you, you want to believe them, so it's just about being young and like kind of figuring out love and how you feel about it and learning from your experiences. So for that one, kind of a coming of age story, I chose The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I think is like the most classic coming of age. I was in middle school when I read it. It also makes me feel very nostalgic, but is a great example of learning from your mistakes, having different experiences in high school, making friends, and having like your first love and seeing how it develops. So both a beautiful song and a beautiful book. Highly recommend both regardless of age, especially Perks of Being a Wallflower is a classic even if you're not in that age range that the author wrote about. Okay, next is Don't Blame Me, and this is a more recent song. It's from her album Reputation, and Don't Blame Me is about being addicted to the person you're in love with. It says, don't blame me, love makes me crazy, so it's kind of like you're obsessed with this person, it's like a drug, but you can't get away from it. So for the book, it's a book, like a guilty pleasure book that you fell in love with, you couldn't put it down. So for me, that was actually the Twilight series. I read that, I think, sophomore year, and before that, I had heard all the, I don't want to say bad things, but all the things about Twilight, and I was like, oh, why would I read that? And then I picked up the first book, and I was like, wow, and I was obsessed. I blew through all 4 books in like a week or two, and I would be sitting in class and people would see me reading. They're like, why are you reading Twilight? And I'm like, I don't know, but I promise it's really good. Like, I'm addicted. So that was my Don't Blame Me book. Okay, Everything Has Changed is a song from Red. That is Taylor's 4th album, and it's about This relationship, they start out, they met when they were younger, and then they have changed through the relationship, but they're still in love. Features Ed Sheeran, beautiful song, beautiful music video. And so the theme is a book with character development, the theme for the tag. So I chose a book called I Am the Messenger. When I read this book, it was one of my favorite books. It's by Marcus Zusak, the author of The Book Thief, but it's nothing similar to The Book Thief. It's about this, I think the character is 19, and he's kind of just like living his life. He's a taxi driver, he's not doing much, and then he starts getting these messages to help people in their daily lives. And it's such a good book, and the character just like goes through so much, and his perspective changes the more he learns about other people's lives. I love that idea, love that theme. So character development, huge character development with that book, and I think it matches really well with the song. Okay, Teardrops on My Guitar is from Taylor Swift's first album. I think it's called Taylor Swift, and the style is very innocent, very different from her present music, but it's about her pining after this boy that is in a relationship, and she says he's the reason for the teardrops on my guitar. So the theme for the book tag is a book that made you cry, simple, and I chose All the Light We Cannot See. I almost chose The Fault in Our Stars, but I figured that one would be kind of expected. So All the Light We Cannot See, I read it earlier this year. It's historical fiction, beautiful, but made me cry so much. It was like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I was finishing it, and I was just bawling my eyes out as I was reading the last few pages. So definitely made me cry, definitely would recommend it. Okay, next, Welcome to New York. It's the first song on Taylor's 1989 album, which is her 5th album, and it's just a happy, fun, upbeat song, and the theme for the book tag is a book that takes place in New York. I thought that would be easy, but I was looking through my list of the books I've read in the past few years, and I didn't actually see that many that took place in New York. So I ended up choosing An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. Also talked about it in one of my earlier videos, but surprisingly, one of the few books I've read recently that takes place in New York. Welcome to New York has to do with how New York is like exciting and open, and attracts people for those things. So you can see that in the book as well. So I think they go well together. But yeah, Welcome to New York, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. London Boy from Lover, Taylor's most recent album, which came out in August. London Boy is just a fun song about her falling in love with a boy from London, and it's pretty obviously about her relationship with her current boyfriend, significant other, who's from London. So I chose a book with a London boy, one of my favorite young adult books, called Anna and the French Kiss. And so her love interest in the book, his name is Etienne. Wow, still remember his name. He was British and French, which is why his name is French. But that book, when I think I was in 8th grade, last year of middle school, was like the classic YA romance, magical, beautiful. Love that book, highly recommend it. Okay, The Man, another song from Lover, is one of Taylor's most feminist songs, kind of a departure from her relationship songs, which is kind of what she's known for, but it's just about how she gets hate for being a woman, as do plenty of women in every industry, especially the entertainment industry. So if she were a man, all of these things that are not okay for her to do as a woman would be okay. So basically feminism is the theme of that. So a feminist book with a strong female character. I chose the whole Hunger Games series. Of course, it's a classic, and Katniss Everdeen was like, again, I was 12. A lot of these books were like formative for me. So I was 12 and reading about this amazing character who beat out men in all these competitions and categories, and surpassed the expectations of what people wanted from her. So the Hunger Games, Katniss, super strong character that goes with The Man. And finally, Wonderland from 1989. It kind of has a lot of references to Alice in Wonderland. Talks about Wonderland, talks about a Cheshire cat, talks about falling down a rabbit hole. So the theme for it is a book that takes place in another world. So I chose The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It's a fantasy book. It has a totally other world, other geography, other It has a magical system. The book itself doesn't match up exactly to the vibe of this song. The vibe of the song is, like I said, Alice in Wonderland, kind of different, whimsical. This is a little bit more serious, but it goes very well with the theme of another world, something fantasy, magical. So, Name of the Wind, great book. Highly recommend it. So this has been the Taylor Swift book tag. I hope you've enjoyed. If you can think of books that go with these songs better than something I may have chosen, please comment down below. Comment your favorite Taylor Swift songs. Let me know if you agreed with my choices. And as always, thank you so much for watching.